What about the presentation? You are ready? Good afternoon, honorable members. To begin this session, I must tell you the joke that I shared with Anand Sharma ji, because you are not privy to that. When he was speaking about 267 and he was telling that it should be permitted, should not be permitted, etc., with the debate goes on. So I sent him a chit and I said that through the 267 notices that we receive in advance for the Secretariat, we also get to know what is going to happen in the Parliament. So that is some advantage of 267 notices. With your kind permission, I would like to give you this brief presentation, and the purpose of this is to give you an overview of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat, and maybe if you agree that we will continue, because I have the experience of the previous sessions, and many times many members want to have some more information, because this is probably the only time that you will have the opportunity to interact in one common platform with all the officers who are dealing with the matters which are connected with you, including the facilities, amenities, all the infrastructure that we have, the official structure. So if you want, we can continue. Otherwise, I'll try to be brief and try to finish this. Okay. As you are aware, the Secretariat has been provided for in the Constitution itself. So it is provided through the provision of the Constitution, and under Article 98 of the Constitution of India, the Rajya Sabha Secretariat has been provided. The recruitment and conditions of the Rajya Sabha implies that rule etc. is 1957, and then the Secretariat method of recruitment Order 2020 was issued under it, and which provides for support for conduct of business in the Rajya Sabha and support services to the members of the Rajya Sabha for discharge of their functions. So this is the broad outline of what Rajya Sabha Secretariat is mandated to do. Next. Just to give you an overview, we have the organization chart, which Secretariat is headed by Secretary General, that's obediently yours, me. Then the Secretary, then we have two additional Secretaries, out of which one is from deputation. It is required that not more than one can be from deputation. So just now we have one from the Secretariat and one from the deputation, Mr. Gandhi, Mr. Jagdish. Because people should know. Additional Secretary, Mr. Jagdish, and we have another Additional Secretary, Mr. Gandhi, and he is attached to the Honorable Chairman presently. Then we have the Joint Secretaries, the Joint Secretary Coordination, Mr. Sundaryal, then Joint Secretary Legislative and the CVO, Mr. Tripathi, apna naam bhi bolte jaiye. Joint Secretary and Financial Advisor, Shikha Darbari ji, she is from the Indian Revenue Service on deputation. Then Joint Secretary Question, Mr. Chaturvedi. Then we have Joint Secretary O&M Methods, Mr. Vimal Kumar. Then we have Joint Secretary COSL, Committee on Subordinate Legislations. The nomenclature is given like this, but they deal with several other things. But one of these subjects is put there just to put their nomenclature. Then we have a Joint Secretary Reporting, Nirmala Bhattji. Then we have a Joint Secretary Lardis. We have different services that I will talk about, and he is the Joint Secretary Lardis. Lardis is to do with the research, library, etc. All these kind of. So he is supposed to give that kind of support to the Chairman Rajya Sabha, to the Deputy Chairman, to me, and also provide various inputs for various programs. Joint Secretary CNP, Conference and Protocol, Mr. Tiwari, Mahesh Tiwari. He also will be looking after several things. Conference and Protocol is the section which deals with the international seminars and all, International Parliamentary Union, which you are aware of. And he deals with the Conference and Protocol, but he deals with several other things. We just put the nomenclature based on one name. Then we have a few Joint Secretaries posts vacant. One of them from our deputation, then one from the Interpretation Service, and one for the Editorial and Translation Service, because we just don't have a person eligible for promotion, so that is why this is there. The staff strength is 1794, which is the regular staff, and these are the people from different services which we have in the Secretariat, and the total number is 1794. Next. This chart we are showing to prove that we are worthy of your serving you, because this being the elder house, we are trying to prove that this is, of course, the next slide. We have the 17, 11, 11 numbers, and in the next slide we are saying that in category A we have 371 persons who are graduates. Out of 373, 371 are graduates and 256 are postgraduates. So mostly it is the people in the A category. 69% people are the postgraduate, and even in group B there are 35% who are the postgraduate, and we have few PhDs also working with us. For your kind information, I want to share it with you and feel very happy about it, that the recruitment that we do for our officers, executive officers, every year about half a dozen people go into the IAS and allied services. They get selected. They appear from here and they get selected for that. That is for the quality of the officers that we have with you, and as I said, we are trying to prove that we are worthy of serving you. We have the different service. Next. We have the different services, which is one is the LAFIA, which is Legislative, Financial, Executive and Administrative Service. These are basically the services which are in contact with you, and these are the people who are behind the administration in the Secretariat. Then we have the largest service, which I just now mentioned, the Library, Reference, Research, Documentation and Information Services. We have the verbatim reporting services, which is do the reporting. If you see you must be watched that in the table, there is in the Parliament a table office. There is a table on which the officers are sitting and taking dictation. The requirement for taking dictation is very, very strong. In fact, we at times find it very difficult to get people. There are several posts which are vacant who can who can reproduce what you have spoken at that kind of a speed. Then we have the simultaneous interpretation service. We have now recently we have the simultaneous interpretation in all the 22 languages. In fact, we had some languages in which the interpretation facility was not available, and I must again share it with you. This is our new initiative, that for the first time for the interpretation services in such languages in which the interpretation was not available and we were not getting people there, so we did a new experiment. We involved the civil society. So from the civil society we recruited we nominated, we did not take them on a permanent role. We selected some people through a transparent process, gave them a training and then made them interpreter. So they come only during the session, they get trained, do the interpretation whenever is required, which is Dogri, Kashmiri, Santhali, Konkani and Sindhi. On these languages there was no interpreter, but through this scheme, without much financial outlay, we have been able to get this scheme, and for them it is an opportunity of lifetime when they come to the Parliament and actually do the simultaneous interpretation. We have the editorial and translation service, because whatever you speak there is an uncorrected version, then an official debate is made out of that, and then we also prepare a synopsis. So all that work is done by them. Printing and publication service, because of the confidential nature of the work that we are doing, and we do mostly through the government printing press, but some we do also through the private printers. So that work is done. Then we have the private secretaries and stenographic services for the official use and also for the honorable MPs that I will talk about later. The parliament security services, which you have seen, they are basically facilitate your participation in the parliamentary work, and also when you want to come to the house and to regulate the entry of the visitors, etc. Then drivers and dispatch rider service. Drivers, of course, normal. Dispatch riders are those which are deputed, one to distribute the duck, etc. And also this service for bringing the members when they wish to the house. Then messenger services. The messenger services are for the documents. Support service, which I think I would like to highlight this, that support services which are provided for the members are members' salaries and allowances section, which is dealt with. Again, I think you can raise your hand, Mr. Jagdish Kumar. बैठिए, हाथ उठा से देते हैं, आपका इंट्रोडक्शन हो ही गया है. Members' amenities section, again Jagdish Kumar ji, he deals with this. Then conference and protocol is Tiwari, Mr. Tiwari, he is dealing with this. Then we have, of course, an stenographer's pool which is available for use by the members for their official work, that can be used. And then we have an IT section, hardware and software, that is dealt with by Mr. Chaturvedi. Next I come to the sections which are the house related sections and which are important for you. You will be interacting with them. One is the notice office. I will take up each one. Table office, notice office, then the table office, the legislative section, the bill office, the lobby office, the question branch and the distribution branch. These are basically the house related section. And these house related section, we have Mr. Joint Secretary, Mr. Tripathi, and we have Mr. Mukul Pandey, who is our ex-additional secretary, now working in the secretariat as officer on special duty. He is also very experienced old hand, and we depend heavily on him for getting all kinds of information relating to the house, what has happened in the past, what is the precedent, etc. That information is obtained from him. As you aware that in 90s we started the committee system in the parliament, and we have two groups of committees, group A and group B. The group A is, we have firstly the standing committees of the Rajya Sabha, which are 8 in number. I am coming to that, and total number of standing committees are 24. 8 are serviced by the Rajya Sabha and 16 are serviced by the Lok Sabha. So, but as you are already aware, the members are nominated to both the committees, the Lok Sabha, and the members are nominated to all these committees. Then we have some committees which are our own committees and of the Rajya Sabha. So one is the Business Advisory Committee. We have a Business Advisory Committee of Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha also has a committee, advisory committee, Business Advisory Committee for the Lok Sabha. There is a committee on rules, which is whenever you want to make some changes in the rules, that procedure has to be gone through, and it is the committee on rules which recommends, and then finally it is approved by the House. Then committee of privileges, this is to see whether there has been any violation or infringement of the rights of the honorable members, any privileges. So this is the committee. Then we have the General Privileges Committee. The General Privileges Committee is sort of an overarching committee and when we want to reach a consensus on any of the point or the subject, then generally we take it to the General Purposes Committee and build a consensus, and then we refer to the concerned committee which is authorized to take those decisions. Then we have an MP LADS committee, also which you are aware, which deals with the entitlement and assignment of the MP LADS fund, these are known as Group A committee. Then we have in the Group B committee, we have the House committee. House committee is for the allotment of the houses, etc., all that activity. Yes, Jagdish Kumar is dealing with this. तो अब मुझे लग रहा है you are dealing with too many of things. Huh? Subordinate legislation, committee on subordination, petitions, and then the these are all committees. Then committee on government assurances, which deals with the assurances, also the fulfillment of the assurances. That work is done by them. And then papers laid on the table, co-plot. So that committee is there. We also have in this chart the number of the members for different committees. Then we have some other committees, in fact two. One is the provision of computer to members of the Rajya Sabha, which is dealt with by Mr. Chaturvedi. And we have this ethics committee. Who deals with that? Yes, Mr. Tiwari, he deals with the committee. Now I'll come to these committees. As you know, that department related parliamentary standing committees, they consideration of the demand for grants and report thereon, which were functioning during this period. Their job is also to examine the bills as and when they are referred to it by the Lok Sabha, by the Rajya Sabha, or either through standing committee or a joint committee or a select committee. So that is done by them. It also considers the annual reports, because several bodies and ministries are supposed to present their annual report and place it before the House. So this also considers the annual reports and the report which has been received from the concerned ministry. And also every committee chooses some policy issues in the beginning of their sitting to pick up some selected topics of policy matters, and they deliberate on that, come to a recommendation, and which is sent to the concerned ministry to consider about that. Next, here we have listed all the 24 committees. Firstly, the 8 which are listed under for the Rajya Sabha. These are the Rajya Sabha committees which are there, and it also shows how many members. So there are 10 members of the Rajya Sabha. There are 21 members of the Lok Sabha, to maintain 1:2 ratio, which we maintain generally in the Constitution, in various activities which the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha does jointly. And then the next one is the committees, DRPS committees, which are of the Lok Sabha, and again the ratio there is 10 and 21. The chairman of the DRPS committee of the Rajya Sabha are appointed by the Honorable Chairman in consultation with the Parliamentary Affairs Minister and different political parties, and those are members are nominated and chair is nominated. Same is done by the Lok Sabha, by the Honorable Speaker. These are some of the important committees of Lok Sabha with which members of Rajya Sabha are associated, and it also says how many members. And in this one, of course, the number of the Rajya Sabha members and the number of the Lok Sabha members is generally 1:2, but in some cases it changes also. So this is the list which is provided. Some of them very important, like Public Account Committee, Public Undertaking Committee, etc. There are ad hoc committees which are select committees and the joint committees, and they are constituted by either the House, Honorable Chairman or presiding officers of both the houses in case jointly, to consider some specific issues, or sometimes even they report on bills when it is referred to them. They, of course, they cease to exist after the submission of report to the houses. A joint select committee is constituted either on a motion adopted by one house and concurred it by the other, and then members of both the houses are nominated to this. While the select committee is specific to that house, and it is select committee is constituted on a motion adopted by the house and consists of members of that house only. The membership of the select and joint committee, I think you are aware, just to reiterate, that is not fixed and varies from committee to committee. Select committee has members of only that which I said. Joint committees have members of Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, again in the ratio of 2:1. And when we, the motion which is taken up, then motion is not complete unless you say specifically the composition and procedures relating to the functioning. So when members have to bring, they have to also suggest the names in those motions. These are basically the activities which have been taken. I would also in the next slide will talk about some of the issues concerning these aspects, concerning these committees, about their functioning, what has been bothering many times the members and other people concerned with the parliamentary systems, and what procedures and actions that we are taking, which I would like to share with you. A recent development which I usko chhod diya TV. The recent development has been that we used to have different security for the Lok Sabha and different security for the Rajya Sabha, and it was very strongly being felt that there is a need for a coordinated or single security system, and this was done a few months back. So we have, even though they exist separately, but there is a joint security which coordinate. This was felt much more when there was an attack on the parliament, and from that point of time this has been agitated by several people, and this was being discussed and being considered. So finally it has taken shape. Similarly, for the television, we have, as you are aware, that for live telecast of the both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, we have Rajya Sabha TV and the Lok Sabha TV. A decision has been taken to merge the two. So we have a CEO of Sansad TV now who has taken charge. The purpose of the coordinated television is that it will of course telecast the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha separately as and when the parliament is in session. But for rest of the time, the production of the common program, because there are several times there is a duplication or maybe a subject of importance which is being discussed in the parliament or which is facing the parliament and even the nation. So at that point of time, those debates were being held separately. So that can be. So idea is to have a common quality production of the programs and telecast it in a joint channel, and during the session it will telecast the proceedings of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha both. So it is Sansad TV with these twin objectives, which has taken place very, very recently, in fact on 1st of March, and this is now coming into shape. 1st of March, Ramachalu, 1st of March. Then I would like to share it with you and like to talk briefly about this, that the new initiatives that have been taken. As you are aware that we have been moving very fast towards the digitization, not only the country, not only the private sector, the government, but also the parliament, and several provisions have been made for members to interact with the Parliament, submit their demands, submit their notices through an e-portal. So there are provision of e-notices, that notices can be given through e-notices, and we have in fact revised our rules to consider the priority of questions being, the notices being received, so that we can give them the time priority depending on the time that they are received. We have now a secured login portal. There was a problem of hacking in one of the cases a few months back, and now we have now a very secured members login portal, http://kavach.mail.gov.in. I have already talked about the simultaneous interpretation facility which has been provided for this one, and with this we have the facility for translation in all the 22 languages. But as you are aware that we have this provision that you should give the notice if you have to speak in these languages, in these 22 languages other than Hindi and English. You have to give a notice in advance, a day in advance, and then we provide for the simultaneous interpretation. Of course, many times the notice which is given is short and we have available interpretation, then we provide it immediately. But as I told that we have got now some interpreters which are not a regular employee of ours, they are only impaneled. So to get them it takes some time. So I would request all of you that when you are doing this, please do consider whether that facility is immediately available or not. The rules which have been made by the Rajya Sabha, they have been revised in the past, but they were revised in piecemeal fashion, and therefore there was not an holistic view of the rules committee, that rules that we have, and we therefore constituted a rules review committee, and the rules review committee went into the entire process. For example, I give you an example of different committees having different quorum. So criteria of quorum in different committees is different, and therefore many times the meetings don't take place because the quorum is not complete. So to overcome all these kinds of problems, we constituted a rules review committee, and this rules review committee went into a lot of details and came out with recommendations after considering the rules of the Lok Sabha, even some of the outside democracies outside India, and after considering they have come out with a huge set of recommendations which the Secretariat has already considered, and we have been able to arrive at some agreed sets of and this is an overhaul. I would really recommend and request you that as and when you find time, you can go through the recommendations of the Rules Review Committee. It has been already been placed in the General Purposes Committee. The Rules Committee is the committee which is authorized to make amendments. But to build a consensus, as I said in the beginning, we refer it to the General Purposes Committee. So General Purposes Committee has already deliberated upon these recommendations, and the procedure is on. We hope that sometime we will be able to put these Rules Review Committee before the House. We had recruitment rules in our several rules committee, the recruitment committee, and during the last few years we have gone into the process, and rather than making ad hoc piecemeal amendments, we have gone through the entire process, seen all the rules which are prevalent, and then come out with the recommendations. So along with this Rules Review Committee, we constituted an anomalies committee for the employees. As you will see that we have different services of 9 services, and then there were some differences in their service conditions, etc. So we constituted Rules Review Committee for the Parliament functioning, and this anomalies committee for the Secretariat. Those recommendations were received, it has been obtained, and it has been implemented to a huge satisfaction among the employees. So that is one which has been done. Similarly, our recruitment rules were not existent for Joint Secretary and above. So those were not only formulated, the recruitment rails have since been revised comprehensively to make it update and also in line with whatever is happening in the government. We have this e-office product suite in which the electronic file management system, the e-file, which has been introduced and it is already functional. Many of our files are now being disposed of through the electronic file management system. Then there is a knowledge management system and leave management system. E-leave is also functional. Those are being done through electronically. We have also now the vigilance section, which was not there for a long time. So we created the vigilance section and the e-office cell, and also the creation of merger of the security and the creation of Censor TV with the merger of RSTV and the Lok Sabha TV. So these are the new initiatives which have been taken, and with this I will conclude my presentation. And in terms of several things, including the facilities which are given to the honorable members, if you have any questions, we have the officers here, they would be able to answer your question.
केवल पावर पॉइंट जो प्रेजेंटेशन किया गया
Sir, there
उसकी
is one
कॉपी जो
question.
है